If you love hidden treasure, forgotten history, and the thrill of turning pocket change into a small fortune, you're in exactly the right place. Today we're diving into two of the most overlooked Kennedy half dollars that quietly carry serious collector interest, unexpected rarity in top condition, and fascinating stories tied to America's post-silver coinage era. These are coins most people walk past without a second glance, yet in the right grade, with the right strike and eye appeal, they can command impressive premiums and fierce bidding wars. Buckle up, because what looks ordinary at first glance can become extraordinary once you understand the story behind the metal, the minting process, the errors, and the collector psychology driving demand. 1973 Kennedy half-dollar coin without mint mark and fine condition. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia during a turning point in American coinage history. By the early 1970s, the nation had fully transitioned away from circulating silver in half dollars, shifting to copper-nickel-clad compositions that were cheaper to produce and more durable for circulation. This era marked the end of the romantic silver weight people once associated with half dollars, but it also created a new chapter where condition rarity and strike quality became the dominant drivers of value rather than precious metal content. This coin carries the familiar Kennedy design introduced in 1964, just months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The obverse shows a powerful left-facing portrait sculpted by Gilroy Roberts, capturing both youthful energy and dignified resolve. Kennedy's hairlines, the strong jaw contour, and the subtle cheek curvature are all critical areas collectors examine for wear and strike sharpness. In fine condition, you'll still see most of the hair detail visible above the ear and along the neckline, with moderate smoothing on the high points, while the legends remain fully readable and well separated from the rim. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the presidential seal with a heraldic eagle holding arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing military strength balanced with peace. The shield on the eagle's chest, the feather lines in the wings, and the stars above the eagle are all areas that show wear first. On a fine example, feather detail remains visible though slightly softened, and the shield lines are still distinct enough to show definition rather than blending into flat surfaces. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 64.9 million Kennedy half dollars in 1973 without a mint mark. While that number sounds massive, survival rates in higher circulated grades, and especially in mint state with strong strikes and original luster, are much lower than raw mintage suggests. Many of these coins were heavily used in commerce or stored loosely in bags where they developed contact marks and dull surfaces. As a result, collectors today often struggle to locate attractive examples that display even wear, balanced toning, and clean fields. In fine condition, a typical circulated example is affordable, often trading in the low single-digit dollar range depending on eye appeal and market demand. However, this is where the story becomes more interesting. The real value leap occurs when collectors seek premium examples that push the boundaries of what fine condition can look like, especially coins that show minimal circulation marks, sharp rims, and appealing natural toning. These coins can sell for significantly more than average circulated examples simply because collectors prize quality within every grade tier. The 1973 Philadelphia Kennedy half is also known for several notable error varieties that elevate collector interest. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and weakly bonded clad layers appear occasionally. One particularly desirable category is dramatic off-center strikes where a portion of the design is missing while the date remains fully visible. These errors can command hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on severity and eye appeal. Another highly collectible error involves misaligned dies producing doubled features in the lettering or date, though true double die examples are scarce and often misidentified. Strike quality is another subtle but powerful value driver. Some 1973 Philadelphia halves display soft strikes, especially in the hair detail and eagle feathers. Coins that show unusually sharp details compared to the average strike are often pursued aggressively by registry set builders and advanced collectors, even if the official grade is only fine or very fine. The psychology here is simple. Collectors want the best example available for their set within their budget range, and superior strike quality can outperform grade alone in perceived desirability. Market demand for the 1973 no-mint mark Kennedy half dollar has steadily increased among modern coin specialists, who recognize that these clad issues are becoming harder to locate in truly problem-free condition. As older collectors retire and new collectors enter the hobby with fresh perspectives, attention has shifted toward condition rarity rather than just precious metal content. This has pushed premiums upward for clean, attractive examples, and especially for certified coins with strong eye appeal. In auction markets, top-graded examples of the 1973 Philadelphia half have achieved surprisingly strong results, particularly when graded at the highest mint state levels. While a fine-condition coin remains modestly priced, understanding its historical context and potential for scarcity in superior preservation helps explain why collectors continue to seek them out. The coin represents a transitional era in American minting, bridging the emotional legacy of Kennedy with the practical economics of modern clad coinage. Collector demand is also influenced by nostalgia and completion goals. Many collectors aim to assemble complete date and mint mark sets of Kennedy halves from 1964 onward. The 1973 no mint mark coin is a required slot, and quality examples are becoming increasingly difficult to locate in attractive condition without cleaning, scratches, or discoloration. This steady baseline demand ensures consistent liquidity in the marketplace. Another fascinating aspect is long-term potential. As fewer high-quality examples remain available and more coins are permanently locked into collections, supply gradually tightens. Even coins currently considered common can experience meaningful appreciation over decades, particularly when the broader coin market recognizes their scarcity in premium condition. For patient collectors, the 1973 Philadelphia Kennedy half dollar represents an affordable entry point with genuine long-term upside driven by condition rarity and collector psychology. Ultimately, this coin's appeal lies in its balance of historical significance, accessible price point, and hidden scarcity. While it may not glitter with silver content, it carries the weight of a nation transitioning into a modern minting era and preserves the enduring legacy of one of America's most beloved presidents. In fine condition, it remains a humble yet meaningful collectible that rewards knowledge, careful selection, and long-term vision. 1973 Kennedy half dollar coin with mint mark D in fine condition. The 1973 Kennedy half dollar with the D mint mark was struck in Denver, and it tells a parallel, yet distinctly different story from its Philadelphia counterpart. Denver produced a larger quantity of half dollars that year, with approximately 83.1 million coins entering circulation. On the surface, that higher mintage suggests abundance, but as with many modern clad issues, true availability in attractive preserved condition is far more limited than raw numbers imply. The obverse design remains the iconic Kennedy portrait by Gilroy Roberts, but Denver strikes are often examined carefully for strike quality and surface preservation. The Denver Mint in the early 1970s sometimes produced coins with slightly softer details in certain areas, especially in the hair above Kennedy's ear and the lower cheek contours. Collectors who specialize in this issue often seek examples that exhibit unusually strong detail and minimal, or even in fine condition, as these stand out sharply against the average circulated coin. The reverse eagle design by Frank Gasparo offers another area where Denver coins show interesting variability. Feather definition, shield clarity, and star sharpness can vary noticeably between individual coins. In fine condition, the Denver half typically shows light wear on the wing tips and shield lines, yet retains enough definition to maintain visual strength. Coins that retain balanced toning and avoid heavy contact marks on the open fields tend to command higher premiums even within the same grade. The Denver Mint's production volume means that circulated examples are still relatively easy to locate, often available at modest prices similar to the Philadelphia issue. However, the collector market values consistency and quality, and the best fine condition examples often sell for more than expected when eye appeal is exceptional. Coins with smooth, even wear, crisp rims, and attractive natural toning can outperform average market prices significantly. Era varieties are where the 1973 D Kennedy half dollar truly captures collector imagination. The Denver Mint has produced a number of notable mint errors over the years, and 1973 is no exception. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, and partial collar errors are known among specialists. Dramatic examples where the design is visibly shifted while the date and mint mark remain intact can command impressive premiums. These errors transform a common circulation coin into a unique collectible with strong demand. Another area of interest involves die cracks and retained cut errors. These occur when a die begins to fracture or lose material, leaving raised lines or blobs on the struck coin. Advanced collectors prize visually dramatic examples because they offer a glimpse into the minting process and mechanical stress endured by dies during high-volume production. A visually striking retained cut on a 1973 half dollar can bring hundreds of dollars depending on size, placement, and overall condition. From a market perspective, the Denver issue benefits from consistent demand among set builders and error collectors alike. Many collectors aim to build date and mint mark sets, and the D-mint mark is essential for completeness. Additionally, error collectors actively search Denver issues because historically the mint has produced a higher number of visually dramatic errors compared to some other facilities. In fine condition, standard examples usually trade in a modest price range similar to face value multiples rather than precious metal premiums. However, certified examples with superior eye appeal and problem-free surfaces can sell at a noticeable premium. The real excitement appears in higher grades, where population numbers drop sharply and competition among registry collectors intensifies. Even though this discussion centers on fine condition, understanding the broader grading landscape helps explain why demand remains stable and future appreciation remains possible. One often overlooked factor is how many Denver coins were stored in rolls and bags shortly after release. Some were preserved reasonably well, while others developed bag marks, dull surfaces, or environmental spotting. Finding a fine condition coin that avoided harsh cleaning or corrosion is becoming increasingly difficult, especially as casual collectors unknowingly damage coins in attempts to make them look shiny. Original surfaces and natural patina now carry strong premiums in the modern market. Collector psychology plays a major role in value. The Kennedy Half Dollar series enjoys one of the largest collector bases in modern U.S. numismatics. The emotional connection to President Kennedy, combined with the long-running continuity of the design, keeps demand strong across multiple generations. As collectors progress in the hobby, many upgrade their sets, replacing average examples with better eye appeal coins. This constant upgrading cycle fuels liquidity and price support even for coins that appear common on paper. Long-term outlook for the 1973 Kennedy Half Dollar remains positive from a collector standpoint. As more coins are permanently absorbed into collections and fewer problem-free examples remain available on the open market, supply naturally tightens. While fine condition examples may not skyrocket overnight, steady appreciation driven by scarcity of quality and persistent collector interest is a realistic expectation. In the context of the top rare and valuable examples from this year, exceptional error coins and top-graded survivors dominate the high end of the market. A dramatic mint error from the Denver issue can outperform many traditional silver coins in realized prices, demonstrating how modern clad coins have carved their own niche in advanced collecting circles. This reinforces the idea that knowledge, careful inspection, and patience can uncover hidden value even in everyday coinage. The 1973 Kennedy Half Dollar ultimately represents durability, mass production, and the subtle art of distinguishing quality from quantity. It embodies the modern era of U.S. minting while preserving the iconic Kennedy legacy. In fine condition, it remains accessible to new collectors, yet still offers layers of complexity, potential upside, and collecting satisfaction for those willing to look beyond surface appearances and appreciate the deeper story each coin carries.